here's a breakdown of a shading node setup that I'm using. Pretty much what the idea behind this is to have smoke curl up as without actually having to render a smoke sim. So it's just using volumetrics and cubes inside Eevee. And the way you do it is using a noise texture and a gradient texture. So pretty much, if we zoom in here, you can see there's this gradient. And so what that is doing is it's telling Blender where the smoke needs to be. So if we look at the add node, you can see everywhere that the gradient is, the smoke is getting put. And then that, yeah, it pretty much gets added. And it's also acting as a factor. So alongside getting added, it's acting as a factor. And so in practice, what that means is you can have smoke coming up from the floor, which I think looks pretty cool. And so if I was to play around with this, you can see I can make it harsher, make it less harsh, play around with it here as well, bring it down, you know, all that cool stuff. But in playback, if this stays static, it looks really weird, because then you're sort of looking at some kind of clouds, but it'll be like clouds that don't move and it looks odd. So to get it moving, you can actually animate the rotation of not the gradient, but of the noise textures. So if we take a look at the Musgrave texture, at the moment I have it animating round. If I wanted to, I could also have this moving up, or have it rotating on a different axis. For this tutorial, I'll actually use that as an example, but I'll keep the noise texture rotating around. So the way you do this is you have a value, and this value is going to be set to whatever frame the animation is currently on. So at the moment it's currently on 0, and the way to get it to change depending on frame is by right-clicking on the frame thing in the animation and copy as new driver. And then you want to go over to a value and hit paste driver. And what that's going to do is it's going to link the frame data to this value. So you can see when I scroll through it, it does that. And then because this would make the things move really fast, what you want to do is you want to put it into some divide nodes. So you can see I'm dividing by quite a large number here for both of these. I'm doing it different on each of them, just so it doesn't look as symmetrical. And then you want to use a combine XYZ. And the reason you want to do this is because, let's say I didn't want to have the X or Y rotating, I could just set these to 0. And the reason I need to have this 3 value going into a vector is because the mapping nodes take vectors, they don't take 3 separate inputs. So I couldn't just say, you know, I want this one to be 400, this one to be 300, because it's just going to take 400 flat. But by using the combine node, you can take 3 different values. So let's chuck that back in. Alright, so for this one, the Musgrave, which is going to be the sort of main blobs of smoke, I want it to go up. So I want the location of the Z to change. And so the way I'm going to do that, well, I'm not sure if it's the Z, I might have rotated it, but the way I'm going to do that is by unplugging both these, setting these to 0, and this is going to take the frame data and then divide it by 1000, and then plug it into the Z. You can see if I've done this right. Okay, you can see it's moving down. We can fix this by using invert, I think. Yeah, by just chucking an invert node in there, you can flip it around. I want it to go a little bit faster than this, so I'm going to set this to like 400. Now you can see you have smoke that's coming up, which I think looks pretty cool. This is still a little bit too uniform, so I'm going to split this up even more, duplicate the combine one, and I'm going to animate it along the Y and Z. Chuck this into the rotation, And let's turn this divide one down to, oh, let's turn it up, hey. Actually, let's set it to like about 500. And now you can see it's going up. Let's just try one axis. Maybe Z. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. Got that little rippling effect. You can see I'm also using this effect on the smaller noise, which I'm using to subtract away from the big one. This sort of gives it a little bit more detail, makes it look a little bit more mist-like, sort of curling at the edges. And by doing it in textures, you get a lot of detail for free. Whereas if you were to try to simulate this using smoke, it would kill your computer. And you can see that combined with the gradient texture, which we haven't animated. So you can see all of this is separate from the gradient. But when you combine it together, you get this really cool effect where it looks like it's sort of fading into nothing, which I think looks really cool. So if we, because I'm rendering this out as the main scene, let's just duplicate, do a full copy, fog scene, because you can see if we unhide, we're going to get a little bit laggy here. Yeah, you can see there's the main scene here. This is from the short concept piece that I just released on my channel. Let's get rid of this. And in practice, you can see having the smoke rise up is actually a really cool effect. And where's the static? Ah, okay, yeah, so because I've created a new scene here, I need to copy the data path from this one. Or copy the driver from this one, because it's still linked to the other scene. So if I paste this in here. Alright. Yeah, there we go. And in practice, you can see this is sort of the effect I had in the short concept piece. So if we go here. You can see it sort of always changing, always coming up. It sort of gives it that mysterious, sort of atmospheric feel, which I think's really cool and I really like. So yeah, I'll render something quick out just to show you guys. But yeah, that's how you get volumetric smoke coming up from below. Give it that dark, mysterious feel. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new. Peace out.